Alright, today we're going to learn how to make wild bird seed for mushroom cultivation. This recipe is very simple. I threw in a splash of coffee and a heaping tablespoon of some gypsum. Make sure you soak it for a full 24 hours and then put it on the stove on high heat. Most people would say to let it simmer for 20 to 30 minutes, but I find that if I put it on the stove and then set the timer for 40 minutes, by the time that 40 minutes is up, you're starting to have some burst grains in there. And after it's been on the stove for a while, I like to check it every few minutes and look for those burst grains or ones that are mushy. If you look in there and you see one or two burst grains, then it's time to take it off the stove. I go and dump that water in the backyard. It's a good way to get rid of all the icky ones that you don't want going in your strainer. And this is the reason why I'm not a big fan of simmering. These are the mushy ones that you want to pick out, and there would be tons of them had I simmered this for 20 minutes. But this is the perfect amount. You know all your birdseed is good and hydrated. So one or two of the burst ones I think is perfect. That's how you know the whole rest of your birdseed is going to work out just fine. Then it's as simple as making a pile on one end of the tinfoil and spreading a thin bed of birdseed down the rest. And then you leave the fan blowing on it until there's no more moisture and it's dry to the touch. No need for the paper tissue test. And once dry, it's ready to be moved down into its own pile. And you want to make sure you turn off your fan before you start sweeping. Otherwise it'll blow your seeds back up to the other pile. I repurposed this old paintbrush. I was using my hands and just kind of pushing it along, but I was poking holes in the foil, so this works really well. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, why go through all this trouble? And the reason is consistency. I was throwing away a lot of birdseed for it either being too wet and get slime molds and ferment or stall out, and then I also had problems with it being too dry at one point. So this method is the perfect way to guarantee that your birdseed is always equally hydrated on the inside and equally dry on the outside. It may take up some time, but it's peace of mind, and it's worked for me. And then once it's all dry, I like to mix it around on the foil just a little bit. And it's ready to be jarred up. I really like this funnel that's fit to the size of these mason jars. It's a big help, so if you can get one, you should. And the next step is putting your jars in the pressure cooker. You want them sitting in about an inch of water with the lid slightly loose and foil over them, of course. So the jar we're looking at has been in the pressure cooker for 90 minutes and given time to cool down, and you'll notice there's quite a bit of moisture visible in the jar. Lots of seeds sticking to the sides, and that's what we don't want. So this next step of shaking your jars is absolutely crucial. This will help disperse a lot of that excess moisture throughout the jar. So you want to stop periodically, and if you still see seeds sticking to the sides, keep on shaking. And there you have it, folks. That is how you get perfect jars of birdseed consistently every time. And our jars are now ready to be inoculated with either a spore syringe or liquid culture. Me personally, I prefer liquid culture. So we're going to be making that video next.